Welcome to E-Day number 2. Today we're going to make the template for our kite project that we will be working on before spring break. Before we begin, we need to make sure we have our materials. So you need the paper that you've printed out that has the template on it. You need a pencil, you need your protractor that you've given to you by your geometry teacher. You need a ruler, and you need a straw. So start by unwrapping the straw. So from a straw, it should look like this. As you can see on your piece of paper that you have printed out in front of you, the first direction is to measure each side of the template. The key is make sure you're measuring them in centimeters. So we're going to measure each side, and then I'm going to write them below, right below the line. So I'm measuring side 1. Side 1, I get 13 centimeters. Flip this around. Side 2, again, be as accurate as possible. Side 2 is 7.5 centimeters. Side 3 is, I'll say, 3.2 centimeters. Side 4 is another long one. This ends up being 11.6 centimeters. And then side 5 is 3 centimeters. After you have all the sides measured in centimeters, measure the straw that you unwrapped. So here's my straw. Measuring this, again, being as accurate as possible. I'm going to say this is 19, kind of hard to see with my ruler against the brown of the table, but my straw is 19.5 centimeters. We're building a similar figure here, so we need to deal with proportions and set up different proportions to make this figure. We have 5 sides, so we're going to set up 5 separate proportions. As you can see here on the piece of paper, that tells you we have it how to set up for you. We're going to use this the model for all 5 sides. We're going to have the straw length that we have divided by the model straw length, which is going to be 14.5. Our template measurement, x, that's going to be our new one, over the side that we measured, sides 1 through 5. So I'm going to start this on a separate sheet of paper. So let's work with side 1. So again, the straw that we measured was 19.5. So I'm going to take 19.5 over 14.5. Set this up as my proportion. Our template is on top. That's going to be our value. We don't know what that is yet. X over side 1, which was 13. There's my first proportion. My second proportion is going to look very similar. 19.5, that's our straw, over the template measure 14.5 equals x. That's going to be our new measurement over side 2, which was 7.5 centimeters. The same thing for 3 and 4. 19.5 over 14.5 equals x. Side 3 was 3.2 centimeters. Side 4, 19.5 over 14.5 equals x over side 4, I had 11.6 centimeters. And lastly, side 5, 19.5 over 14.5 equals x. Again, our new template measure over 3 centimeters. After you have all your proportions set up, go ahead and solve the proportions. I've already solved those, and here are my measurements for the different sides. Side 1 is 17.5 centimeters, side 2 is 10.1, side 3 4.3, side 4 15.6, and side 4 is 4.0. When you turn in this worksheet on Monday, make sure you have all your proportions set up and all the work to correspond with the proportions to go along with these answers. So after I have all of my proportions figured out, all my new sides of my new template measured, we need to begin the process of making the new template. I'm going to set my measurements off to the side. I'm going to take my blank piece of paper and my ruler and make a very long line that's going to be over the length of 17.5 centimeters. So just a nice and long line. down the side of my blank piece of paper. I'm now going to measure 17.5 inches. This is going to be side 1. Side 1 on my template was 13 inches, or I'm sorry, 13 centimeters. Side 1 on my template needs to be 17.5. So you can see here, put my mark at 0. Put a mark at 0, measure 17.5 centimeters, put another mark. There is my first size. Tough to see kind of on the camera, but you can see roughly where those two marks are. That's my side of my template. You can obviously it's going to be a similar figure, but it's going to be larger than the template that's on the printout that you have. Next, we need to measure go back to my original template, and we need to measure the angles here. So we can't just draw and freehand it, or it won't show up very well. So we need to measure the angles of our template. I take my protractor that you got from your teacher, put it down here, put the vertical line next to the vertical line of the side on the template on the worksheet, and I find that my first angle that I need to make is going to be 90 degrees. So I go back to my template. This is going to go up and be side 2. I go up, put the line on the dot, make sure the 180 degrees corresponds with that long line of side 1 that I drew. Now I'm going to take I'm going to put a dot right above 90 degrees. So here's my dot from side 1, here's the dot that I made above 90 degrees. Next, I'm going to connect those dots. Again, extend the line past the dot. Make sure it's nice and long. Don't just stop right at the dot. So that's a nice and long line. I'm going to go over here and going back to the template on the printout, I'm going to go and measure this angle right here next to side 1 and side 5. It looks very similar to side 2. It looks like a 90 degree angle. I'm just going to measure it to make sure. And using my protractor, using my ruler to line everything up, I do find out that this is 90 degrees. So again, going back to my new template that I'm drawing, go back to where side 5 will be. Here's side 1. Take my protractor. Once again, put the vertical line on the protractor on the dot, and make sure my 180 degrees from the protractor matches up with my straight line that is side 1. Put a dot above 90 degrees once again, and once again extend the line a little past the dot. So I have side, right now here's my side 1, here is side 2, and here is side 5. So I have side 1, side 2, and side 1, side 2, and side 5 all drawn. Next, I need to go back to my template. We have 2 more sides to draw. We have side 4 to draw and side 3 to draw. Let's start with side 3. So I'm going to turn the paper, take my protractor, put it at the vertex of this angle. Once again, making sure that it lines up with 180 degrees to make sure it's straight and in the appropriate spot. Because side 3 is shorter, I'm once again going to have to use my ruler. So I want to take my ruler. See that a little better now. Take my ruler. Again, the vertical line on the protractor is right at the vertex there. Take my ruler, and I'm going to look at where it meets. I'm going to look at the top line. Look at the top line there. I can see, kind of tough to see. Here's 70. Here's 60, so I can count back and see where it exactly hits. It hits at 65 degrees. So if I'm looking at the bottom, this is actually an obtuse angle, so it's 65 on top, or that would correspond with, you can see here 70 corresponds with 110. That's going to correspond to a 115 degree angle. So you need to go ahead and mark that. I need to make a 115 degree angle on my new template. So back to, I know it's going to be 115. Back to my new template here. Take my protractor. You have a dot where, I'm sorry, let's back up. We need to first measure side 2. We have our measurements. We know side 2 equals 10.1. So I need to measure 10.1 centimeters. 10.1 centimeters from the side. That puts me, again, being as accurate as possible. Here's 10.1 right here. Draw a big dot. That right there, as you can see, Here's where side 1 and side 2 meet. Up to this big dot right here is all of side 2. All of side 2, which is 10.1. Now we go back to our protractor. We know it needs to be a 115 degree angle. Put the vertical line at the dot. Use your first find 115 degrees. Here's 110. Here's 120. Again, I can count from one of the sides. I find 115. Put a dot on the outside of the protractor. And once again, connect the dots. I can extend it further if need be, which is never a bad thing. There's side 3. Looking back at my measurements, again, I know that side 3 is 4.3 centimeters. So while we're still talking about side 3, I'm going to go ahead from the dot right here, where side 2 and side 3 cross, mark 4.3 on that extended line, and that is going to be the length of side 3. Let's go back to side 5 now. Our side 5, again, from our measurements that we found out, our side 5 needs to be 4.0 centimeters. So I've extended this line on side 5. I'm going to measure 4.0 centimeters and mark it on side 5. After I have the 4 centimeters marked, I need to go back to the original template, to the printout, and measure one more angle. I'm measuring this angle here at side 5. So again, put the vertical line at the vertex. Be as accurate as possible. I can see that it lines up with a 60-degree angle. And the 60-degree angle is on the bottom part of the template. So one last time, I need to go over to my new template, put the vertical angle at the spot where I measured side 5. Here's my 4 inches of side 5. Put it there. Mark a 60-degree angle above the protractor. Again, here's the vertex where that angle will be. There's where 60 degrees will be. And draw a line and extend it through side 3. So this ends up being side 4. Draw from dot through the dot all the way to side 3. And when you do that, you'll notice that it runs into the dot that we measured for side 3, which works out perfect. That means our angles are correct. That means we are accurate with our template. So this is what our new template should look like. You can tell here's our template. Here is the other template that we made. They are similar figures, same shape, just different size. So now after you have your template drawn, make sure you put your name on it. Cut the template out with scissors and bring the template in. This is your e-assignment number 2. So make sure you bring that in. Make sure you bring in all your work, all your proportions, and all the work that corresponds with them. And this will, again, go along with the kite project that we will start before spring break.